right, welcome to the Krueger Show. Giants lose to the D-backs. Brandon Crawford grounded into a double play to end the Giants' rally in the 8th. And then the Giants got nothing in the 9th against Mark Melanson and the Diamondbacks. Beat the Giants again. Last year, Giants owned the Diamondbacks. This year, Arizona is 3-1 against San Francisco. Welcome to the Krueger Show. I'm Larry Krueger. Bottom of the screen, Dan Coccimilgio. The man on my left is Ryan Smith. These guys have been out in Hayward today at the NFL Alumni Golf Tournament that honored the great Ricky Waters, former Niner and Eagle, was out there. Gentlemen, before we get into the game, how was the golf tournament today?
Oh, it was nice. I got a chance to talk to Ricky. Got a picture of him. Did you get that picture, Ryan?
No. Sent it to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got some photos with Ricky, and we saw Jim Plunkett out there, and also Bill Ring, the former fullback for the Niners when they won their first 2 Super Bowls in the early 80s, 81 and 84. If you saw him, you would just think, no way that guy played football. You know, he's like not big at all. I mean, just
Danny was talking about how he was going to kick his ass in the parking lot.
Bill Ring?
Yeah, right.
I think I'll take Ring.
Yeah.
I'll
take Ring too.
It was great. It was oh god, we had some technical troubles and sort of like it was all expected. It was a great vibe there. Tons of great food and stands, and me and Danny got like free 10-minute massages and got tried to get sold on some stem cell. It was a great time. We ended up the bit we ended up doing because we spent like. They kept trying to move the tables and all this stuff. And, we needed to be near an outlet. And it got to a point where, like, we were spending so much time just trying to figure out where we can set up and then finding a power cord. And by the time we got set up, it was like, wow, we're 3 minutes to when I tease this thing. We don't have any ideas. And then I was just for some reason, it just popped into my head. We did kind of a funny idea building off our draft thing we did. Had nothing to do with golf or football. We could have done it from our couches, but we ran through just me and Danny. I came up with the idea of like, okay, so he was Team Farhan, I'm Team Kapler. That was just our team names, means nothing, but it was just still funny. And it was as if we were going to play each other head to head in a 3-game hypothetical series. And we just went back and forth, and we got to draft players that have played a game for the Giants this year. And then we came out, at the end. So it was like, 3 starters each, 3 relievers.
I had him shaking right from the beginning, though, because
I was shaking.
We did the national anthem, and he had to leave.
It's funny. We'll jump right into the chat here. Romo 2001 says Belt went 3 for 3. So let's pinch hit Slater for him. What did you guys think of that decision? Okay, so Giants. Let's go to the 8th. Let's go bottom 8. It's 4-1. You had Kelly pitching for Arizona at the start of the inning. He walks Wade Jr. to start the inning. Ruff hit for Jock Peterson, and Ruff reached on an infield single to third base, and so he had first and second. And then you had Flores double to left
off the bag.
Yeah, a little bouncer off the third base bag. Giants actually got a break there. That scored Lamont Wade and moved Ruff to third. And then here comes Brandon Belt. And Brandon Belt is the captain. He's, hot. He's one of these guys that he goes on these prolonged streaks. When he's hot, you can't get him enough at bats. When he's cold, you can't get him out of there fast enough. He's hot. He's 3 for 3. And overthink Kapler puts up Austin Slater to pinch hit, playing more lefty-righty games. I don't know, guys. Maybe it's just, I don't know if you're just going to always kind of play lefty-righty games till the end. I mean, it just kind of, and then what did Slater do? He grounded out to shortstop. That scored Ruff. The inning continued. Gonzalez walked. Villar walked. So you had a bags loaded 1-out situation, and Crawford grounds into the double play. The Giants challenged it twice. Yeah, it was a 2-0 pitch. It was bad hitting. Crawford's not having a good year, but he's 35 at this point. But the Giants challenged the play at second. What the heck were they looking at? He was obviously out at second. Then they challenged the play at first as well. What were they arguing? That what Yaz slid into him or somehow interrupted the infielder? I mean, they barely touched at all. He was well within his rights. He wasn't like he went out of the base pass. He didn't throw a leg up. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary. They barely clipped Perdomo. I don't know what they were looking at right there, but they didn't get the call. It was super close at first for sure. But there are people saying eliminate replay and they always screw it up. I didn't think they screwed that up. I thought it was very, very, very close, but that he was out. And that was the ball game right there. Giants,
it's just a frustrating
down a run
because I'm there at the ball game and McCarthy comes up in I believe it was the 7th. Is that when the Diamondbacks got their 4th run, top of the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, so McCarthy leads off.
Top 8. Top 8. It was top 8. Alcantara singled home McCarthy in the 8th to make it 4-1.
Okay, so top of the 8th. It's McCarthy leads off with a walk.
Right, stole second, super fast.
But here's what happened. He took off. I don't know if it showed it on TV. He took off before Rivera went into his windup. And all Rivera had to do was step off the rubber, and he had him cold. He was halfway between first and second. He stopped. And Rivera just keeps going. It was like somebody, I don't know if anybody yelled, but somebody on the infield should have been saying, step off. And that means, hot play, you got him. And when he didn't and he got to second base, I go, watch. They'll knock in this run. And they'll go up 4-1, and then the Giants will come back and get 2, and they'll lose 4-3. And I hate being right on those type of things, but I've seen him do this all the time. That run meant a lot. And had he picked him off, he had him cold. It was just a frustrating. You don't see that happen where a guy steps off and he still is sitting there holding the ball and the runner stopped between first and second. Then he was like, oh crap, I better do something. He just kept going to second. And then Rivera winds up and throws. It was like, I don't know the fundamentals. When I played ball, you talk, you yell. The second baseman, Wade, at first should have been yelling, step off, because that's the key to you got a guy that's took off. And I think I would have heard it if somebody yelled nothing. So,
I can't hit too hard on today's game just because, you know what? They bought a teeny bit of good faith with me with the last 2 games. And at least this game didn't feel hopeless. I really felt like they had a really great chance to come back, even when they were down 4-1. And I just haven't been feeling that. And, I feel like it was, rightfully so. It seemed like, it seems like everyone was into the game and Belt was hitting. And also, we had a series of very fortunate things that have been going against us go for us in that 8th inning. So
the ball hit the bag there.
The ball hit the bag. They walked Wade. That was a total Kapler move. I don't know what their analytics department said, but walked the leadoff guy in the 8th. And then, we have a rough on an infield single. I'd say that counts as pretty lucky. And then boom off the bag. That counts as pretty lucky. Then Villar was out on that. He should have been strike 3. And then he ended up walking. And so I can't be too mad at the boys. At least they put up an effort, and I it's a sad thing to say that, but that's where I'm at with this team. They're a little above average, and so at least play hard. So
the problem was they lost because I didn't get my bet in time. I got one bet in that they'd be no score in the first inning, so I countered that and I tried to put in. I've been betting on the Giants for weeks, and they keep losing. So I started betting against them, and they won.
I bet against them 3 games in a row.
And I tried to do
it Sunday, but
I get
3
ready
weekdays in a row.
I went to bet against them, and I was sitting there. I was in my seats, and they were still there was still another 2 minutes to go for the game, and it said my bet didn't go through. So I had put the Diamondbacks to win. So I would have. It's on me. I blew it, man. I didn't
Well,
get my bet
here's
in
the
time.
thing. There's a couple other things in this game that were annoying. One, I realize Joey Bart's not hitting well, but Mercedes isn't hitting well either. And you're going to pinch hit Mercedes for Bart. You're looking for a blast, and you got Bart up there. He's got tremendous power, and Yaz singles to lead off the bottom of the ninth inning, and Bart's coming up now. Pinch hit Mercedes. Sometimes I think Kapler, it's like, do you not think that Bart might, maybe a big hit in a big late inning situation might get him going? Instead, no, you put up Mercedes, who's hitting 210 or whatever he's hitting, and he grounds into a little fielder's choice weekly.
Well,
so I didn't love that move. I'll tell you the other move I really don't like, and it's like, make the adjustment, Kapler. It's so frustrating. It's like, why is Lamont Wade Jr. leading off? Can somebody explain that to me? He's hitting 190. His on-base percentage is 304. I know he's got good command of the zone, and he's one of your faster guys, but I don't care. Get me the guy. I mean, Luis Gonzalez was in the lineup. He's got Luis Gonzalez hitting what, sixth or seventh?
Fifth or sixth.
Luis Gonzalez is hitting 302. Luis Gonzalez is a 365 on base percentage. I'd rather see them lead off Gonzalez or VR than Lamont Wade Jr. Now, if Lamont Wade Jr. gets it dialed in a little bit, then that's one thing. But he's not Ricky Henderson. He's not some established, awesome leadoff hitter that stats, put all stats aside. You just lead off, late night Lamont, and you don't think twice. He's hitting a $190, and his on base percentage sucks. So why is he leading off? I mean, it makes no sense at all. It'd be one thing if you didn't have Gonzalez, if he was hurt, but Gonzalez is hitting over 300. And on base percentage, that's 60 points higher.
Hey, Larry, Farhan over here, Team Farhan. His lineup's on the left. We had the chance after the draft to make our lineups, and look who he had batting number one with Luis Gonzalez in the 5-hole.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that's based on.
Well, hey, Ryan, I guess I just did that based on the fact that that's where he's been playing, but
But I mean, to make the adjustment, right? I mean, just don't ignore what's in front of you. What's in front of you is that Lamont Wade is ice cold, and that maybe he'll get it going, but let him get it going and then put him in the leadoff spot. Take the guy who's going right now and put him in the leadoff spot, giving yourself a better chance to win today. If I said to you today at 2:00 in the afternoon, well before the game tonight, okay, you can have between Wade and Gonzalez, one guy's going to get 3 at-bats, one guy's going to get 4 at-bats. Who do you want to have that extra at-bat? Gonzalez in his 302, 365, or Lamont Wade with his 190, 304? It's an easy call. So what are we doing here?
Yeah,
so sometimes
point. Here's another point, Larry, that pisses me off. Think about this. Belt goes 3 for 3, and he gets pinch hit for. Bart hits the 2 loudest balls all night, except besides Belt's shot off the wall. But that's Belt. So, and then Bart hits 2 ropes to left field.
Right.
And then
missed monster slams by a quarter inch on the back.
Oh yeah, any backspin and those are gone. He had top spin on both of them. So
by the way, Dan, you probably missed this, but the belt double, the broadcast said would be a home run in every single ballpark.
I did hear that.
All minor league ballparks except for Oracle.
That thing was hit.
He got oracled
off the wall.
He got oracled.
Yeah, and it was.
He got oracled. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
It was very.
And then Cobb was frustrating to watch. I mean, Cobb's been hugely inconsistent. He just. 4 walks, 100 pitches. He just didn't throw enough strikes. I mean, look at through 100 pitches, 57 of them were strikes. That's a lot of non-strikes there.
Oh yeah, he
So,
was throwing a lot of balls early on that inning. He gave up.
and
3
Joe Vera
runs.
didn't seem like he had it today. I mean,
No.
what happened to the Joe Vera that we saw over the weekend in San Diego with 96 and explosive late breaking movement? Today, he didn't seem like he had anything. I mean, it didn't seem like he had near the same stuff.
Yeah, it's
He heard
just
Danny drafted him, and
yeah. Well, look at your team and look at mine.
I know that team sucks.
If Larry took one look at your team against my team, I guarantee you he would take my team.
No, it's true. It's true.
Come on.
Anonymous. Belch 6 for his last 7 with a homer, 2 doubles, and a walk. And Kapler pinch hits for him with Slater, who grounds out.
Well, you know when Belch
Kapler's,
is
I mean, there's no feel there. I think Kapler looks at so many GD numbers that he just has no feel.
His mind
no
is
feel at all.
melting. I mean, I said in the chat with us, I thought that Kapler was going full Costanza, which I said on the other show, or on the show, like when we were in the middle of the slump. I was like, maybe he should just go full Costanza, do the opposite of what he normally do. Because guess what? It's like all of a sudden, Webb's going 8 innings, Rodon's finishing games, Woods going late. Even Cobb today went to like 105, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, we have a runner on second base with 1 out. And Luis Gonzalez already tried to bunt, and he's 1 strike, and he's still trying to bunt? What is happening? Is Kapler, he's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Romo 2001 says maybe Posey was also the manager last year, not Kapler.
That's true. I mean, I think with guys like Kapler, it's not so much that I don't know how much he like grinds on people, but I've had coaches, and now I'm pulling a Danny. I've had coaches in my day where, they're guys that just don't show any emotion or they're like robots. And sometimes it's like, you don't know where you stand with those guys, and it's kind of uncomfortable, and you'd almost rather be yelled at than nothing. You know what I mean? And that's what it kind of feels like with Kapler. So it's almost like the players have to generate the fire. And speaking of fire, we have to do this because this is what I was most excited for this show. This will bring some laughs to the Krueger worldwide. Okay, so Dan sent us this guy. Apparently, they didn't show it. They panned to him, but it was after. Apparently, made an unreal one-handed catch. Dude was
just
totally right in the palm of the hand. Dan immediately goes and interviews him after.
I was right behind him. I was 3 rows behind him.
His hand looked pretty much like hamburger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So hamburger. But yeah. So anyway, but really. Oh no. Oh, it's not letting me play it. Okay, wait. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out.
While you're figuring it out, I'll tell you another story that irritated me. I was down in San Diego this weekend, Petco Park, beautiful place, great concessions. My Saturday night seats, I had in-seat service, right? And I go to, I look at the menu and I order, and my food's brought to me within 2 minutes. Tonight, I go
2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes. I ordered, and food was like there. Boom, hot food in a bag. Here's your order, Dan. And
hot food in a bag.
And tonight I go to do mobile ordering. They don't have in-seat service this year at Oracle because they didn't hire enough people. And then I go to do the mobile order where at least I can go pick it up and I don't have to stand in line and wait for, 10 minutes in line and miss the game. So that's down tonight. I said, what's going on? Oh, we don't have enough workers. And then I go to one of the ushers and I said, what the heck's going on around here? Why aren't they people, working? What? He says, they didn't hire enough people. And he points to Mission Rock and he goes, I think they're putting all their money into that. And I thought to myself, the way this ball club's been managed, it sure looks like it. I mean, where is the money? The Padres got Tatis, Machado, Hosmer, Luke Voigt. They got
they're trying to get rid of Myers and Hosmer, according to the reports. They're trying to offload their deals. I mean, I want to. That's the other thing. I'd like to see the Giants start to, I'd like to see they don't have anything to move except really that they want to move except for money. Start, go. Why can't the Giants hook up with the Padres and take a Hosmer or take a Will Myers and pay that freight? I mean, it's just money. It's literally just money. You don't want to trade prospects. You do have a lot of money. Why wouldn't you just take? They're looking to cut money. Why not? How good would Hosmer be? DH Belt. But, Mark Graves here, the man with the control on Danny's mic, says, how does Cap go to Belt with 3 hits in the game and said, we're pinch hitting for you?
Yeah, after Belt's probably going, man, I was in such a slump. Now I'm 6 for my last 7. Come on, Gabe. I get in these grooves and I can carry a team for weeks. It's like unbelievable. I don't know. It's just, if you're going to play lefty righty all night long, if that's the moves that he's going to make and the Giants sign off on it, then why not just pay Gabe, any manager, pay Ryan or me a couple $100,000. We'll take the manager job and we'll push the buttons that we're told to do and we'll collect our check. And then you can put the other $5 million you're paying Gabe into some players. I mean, why don't they pay a manager if that's what I just don't get it. It's lefty righty beyond measure. It's like yesterday. I know they won 12-0, okay? And I'm going to harp on this until the moon turns blue, okay? Austin wins as your DH. Are you serious? I mean, you got 2 catchers, so you put your backup catcher for the game as the DH. So if your number 1 catcher, Bart, gets hurt, you can't put Wins in as the catcher. So now you got to play Mercedes as your backup, as your catcher. Why is Austin Wins, you're telling me that he's better than Luis Gonzalez, who's on the bench, or Jock Peterson? I mean, Gonzalez just got off the IL, so he goes on rehab, and they're hitting so horrible, they pull him after 2 games on rehab to get him back to the big club because they need a spark, and then they sit his butt.
Where's the feel? Where's the feel? That's what I would say. Estrada hit a bomb yesterday. Is he in the lineup today? No. You got 2 hot hitters right now. Their names are Wilmer Flores and Brandon Belt. You pinch hit for one of them late in the game. I mean, it's like, what? Lamont Wade's hitting 190. Luis Gonzalez is hitting 302. There's literally over 100-point difference there. And you're leading off Wade, and and Gonzalez is hitting down deep in the lineup. I mean, it's baffling, man. It's baffling. Joey Bart is in a deep funk. He hits a couple of frozen ropes. You pinch hit for him. I mean, it's just like there's no feel. I think he's just totally grasping at straws at this point. You can see the desperation out there in Kapler. He looks nervous. He looks like he knows everybody's questioning him. I wouldn't doubt it. If you told me that the guys have turned on him and he's lost the room, I wouldn't doubt that. You had Jalen Crawford the other day saying, "Hey, do we ever bunt?" So she's openly questioning the manager. Do you think Jalen Crawford, Brandon Crawford's wife, would be on social media, on Twitter, questioning Gabe Kapler's decision-making if her husband also wasn't in lockstep with her, also questioning it? So it's just, I get the feeling that Kapler's lost the room. We'll find out, I guess, in a few weeks, but no feel at all. To me, I put this one's on Cap, because there was enough good things going on in this game. There was enough potential opportunities in this game. His feel is just not there. He's looking at numbers and so many numbers that he doesn't know if he's coming or going. Play the hot hand. He doesn't know what that means. You got a couple hot hitters. Does he play them? No. He takes Belt out at first chance he gets. I mean, it's just no feel at all.
No such thing. There's no such thing as momentum. There's no such thing.
Right. No. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, this is what's going to cheer everyone up. At least it cheered me up. Okay, so I've been teasing this. So what is this? This is Dan with the man who caught a foul ball off his palm. That is actually, I'm burying the story. The real story starts at the end of this, where he gets a chant going, a certain chant. I'll play a little of the beginning, then I'll skip to the end.
All right, Dan Coccimilgio here with the Krueger Show, and we've got Mike from Burlingame, who made a one-handed catch. It looked like Brandon Crawford out there, stuck his glove up there. Let's see that hand there, Mike. Is it red? That hand, look at that. Look at that, man. He caught a line drive at, what was that? I estimated it was about 93 miles an hour. What do you think?
It's analytics.
Yeah, it wasn't much worse than having the glove on. And
Yeah? Oh, there's a drive. Deep right field.
Get out.
It's off the wall.
I didn't even realize that you got
right.
the double.
That was Belt's last at bat before being pinch hit for.
Dave from Burlingame, and Brandon Belt hits one off the brick wall.
I kept calling him Dave. I apologize, Dave, if you're watching.
Okay.
It's
So
Mike.
here, so listen to the chant that's going. We're doing a little detective work here because I was convinced. So
Go
listen
to the end of this. Go to the end of this.
Yep.
Well, thanks
Listen
very
to this
much.
chant.
I had to make the catch. It would have been not good if it had dropped out. I can hear the blues already.
All right, so we're going to play this on the Krueger Show, everybody. YouTube channel, the Krueger Show. That's Krueg with Larry Krueger. So everybody, shout out to Larry. Larry, everybody in the crowd, shout out to Larry. All right.
Okay. That on its own is hilarious and priceless. But there's something that nobody else noticed, apparently. I thought for sure that Dan was still at the game.
I left early because I couldn't take it when it got to 4-1.
I was shocked to see you in the StreamYard. I thought you were leading a chant, a Larry chant that was coming across the broadcast. I could hear it, I swear to God, and it was in the bottom of the ninth, like in the most key moments with a runner on first, and I thought for sure Dan had hyped the crowd up to a frenzy with Larry chants, and that he was filming it to try and record a walk-off home run. Okay, Dan had no idea of any of this. Dan had no idea of any of this. But here, let me submit evidence 1 and then evidence 2. All right, here is evidence 1.
Larry.
It's 1-2 with Lamont Wade Jr. on deck.
There it is.
Now, are they chanting Larry or Barry?
Those guys were toasted tonight, man.
Did on that nicely and that's hilarious.
Okay, that's one. And this was
Big
going
time
on-
Jimmy says, big time Timmy Jim. They were saying Barry.
Damn it.
Barry who?
I had him Barry Lamar Bonds, maybe.
But why Barry?
You said they were drunk. They're hoping for Barry. Anonymous. Dan is the Krueger Show's Larry Bud Melman. That is awesome.
That's an L.
That's an L.
It did sound Larry. It did sound like Larry. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Go back to the first one real quick. This is. I feel like this is 100% Larry. My dad and I double checked. This was going on the whole ninth, so we had multiple. I just filmed 2 of them.
It's 1-2 with Lamont Wade Jr. on deck.
They are yelling Larry. That is unbelievable.
I thought Dan had led a stampede of junk because there wasn't that many people in the stadium, so I thought he just got them
maybe
all
if these guys are there tomorrow night in those same seats, I'll get a Larry chant going tomorrow night.
Oh my
Seriously,
God.
that would be awesome. Romo 2001. You sure it isn't? They weren't yelling Kapler. Probably not.
And you know what? When I talked to Mike from Burlingame,
Factual Toilet calls you the best hype man of all time.
I told him he'd be on the show tonight, that we'd play my video clip interviewing him, And he said, I just listened to Larry this morning on 95.7 The Game.
Look at that. Look at that. Little cross
Yeah,
promotion. Check me
so
out tomorrow at noon. I'll be on tomorrow at noon on 95.7 The Game with the great
95.7 The Game tomorrow. Okay. With who you on with at noon?
tomorrow, I believe I'm on with JD, John Dickinson. John Dickinson in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So check out Larry tomorrow at noon, 95.7 The Game. And then he'll be back on his own channel tomorrow night after the Giants Diamondbacks game 2. We'll probably be on somewhere around 10:30, around that mark or so, hopefully. 10:30 tonight's game.
In the post game. We'll be in that post game window.
Yeah. So yeah, they knew of you. They said, yep. Mike from Burlingame, the man who made the catch of the year, barehanded. I mean, it was not one of those pop-ups, that you can stick your claw out there and just kind of grab it. He had to put it, and it was coming on a line at him. And
his hand looked badly bruised.
I was 3 rows behind him with my big Rawlings glove. I have a big outfielder's glove, and I'm running up to see if I can, because I'm on the aisle. So I'm running down the steps, and then I'm going to go over to where he is, and I'm going to reach out and kind of run down the aisle behind him. And I see his hand go up, and I'm like, oh my goodness! You could hear it hit his hand. It was like smack right in the hand, and it didn't. And
Did he drop it at all? Did he
No,
get stuck in there? Wow!
It's stuck in there. It was like amazing. It was like
did he give the ball to a kid or did he keep it?
I didn't see because there was no kids in the section that I could see, so I couldn't tell if he gave. I mean, if you're gonna make a catch like that, you got to keep it. I'm serious.
You got to give it to the kid.
I mean,
give it to the kid.
If there was a kid around, I'm sure he would have, but I didn't see any kids in the section. But God.
Danny, that was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah. Ronald BBX says, it does sound like they were chanting Larry. Mark Graves says, what's your schedule this week on 95.7? All right. Today, I was on with Willard 9 to noon. Tomorrow on with JD noon to 3. I believe I'm on with Whitey Gleason on Wednesday noon to 3. And then you can check me out all next week in Afternoon Drive.
I think I heard you guys talking today a little bit about Garoppolo,
Bruce,
right?
next week.
Weren't you guys
we were talking Garoppolo. We were talking about Joey Gallo too. Joey Gallo.
Okay, how did that turn out?
I'm a fan of the Giants trading for Joey Gallo, and it's amazing how many people have pushed back with they don't need a guy who strikes out. They don't need a left-handed hitter. They don't need he's a 28 two-time All-Star who's got 240 homer seasons. You've had a parade of Padlos coming through here. When you're staring at wins and Padlo, you can't turn up your nose at Joey Gallo. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's been bad in the Bronx, but so what? He's a road warrior. He's the latest guy that couldn't handle the pressure of the Bronx. You put him in San Francisco, and if nothing else, they're slightly less boring.
Well, I'll tell you what,
he can pop some home runs.
I mean, I've seen the Diamondbacks now a few times here live. I was down at the Yard a week ago in Arizona, and then I saw him here, tonight, and I'll be back there for the next 2 games against Arizona. And I'll tell you what, if the Diamondbacks, I'll take their trajectory where they're going versus where the Giants are right now, because they've got Rojas, who is a good-looking left-handed hitter. This Thomas kid, Alec, I think is
Alec Thomas, yeah.
He's good.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that play. How about the Little League play actually worked in the game tonight? Ground ball in the infield. The runner beat it to first.
Oh, my God.
He takes a pivot to the left.
Oh,
I didn't think he made a move towards second base.
Oh, he did.
He looked like he was going to, but I didn't see him actually take a step. And the first baseman recognized that he had made that move towards second, tagged him, umpire called him out.
Well, what happened?
That's
cool.
The Little League play.
I had a great view of it. He took a half a step, and usually you have a chance to get back to the bag because the ball, the first baseman has to go chase it. Well, the ball ricocheted off the dugout fence or something and went right to Wade on a fly. it just went boom, and he caught it. And so somebody yelled, "Go tag him." And he went and tagged him. He had no chance to get back to the bag because he was 30 feet past the bag, where the grass and the dirt.
But I thought you could turn to your right or your left, but if you made a move to second, then you're live.
What he did, he kind of went like this. Like he made a jerk like he was going to go, and then he
maybe he just had an itch in his pants.
No,
seriously.
You could see he made an like he was going, and then he thought, and he saw the ball.
I've never seen that called like that in the big leagues.
That's what I'm saying. That was another like one that
the break.
Those don't normally go our way, I feel like, but
the Diamondbacks, so they have a lot of good young players coming up. Like I said, Rojas, Thomas, and then they got Marte,
Jake McCarthy,
and then they got Pavin Smith, who's injured, and then they got the young kid Corbin Coulter. Is it
Corbin Carroll?
Corbin Carroll, who's like the number 3 prospect in all of baseball.
Five tool guy too.
And then Dalton Varsho. My goodness.
Yeah, he's good too.
Oh,
he's named after
Dalton.
Dutch Dalton. Darren Dalton.
Darren Dalton. Yeah. Same spelling. Yeah. So, I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm. He could catch. He play right field. He could play center field. He's fast. And then, so they got a lot of young guys. And the Giants right now, their only young guys that I'm excited about are Gonzalez and VR. And I heard Isan Diaz came up on the taxi squad.
Yeah, so he's got 16 bombs in the minor leagues, and he wasn't active tonight, right?
Right.
But he was in San Francisco tonight in the clubhouse. So
maybe he goes.
So maybe he'll be active tomorrow.
Yeah. So who do you put down?
I mean, heck, Belt had 3 hits. Maybe farm him out. Luis Gonzalez is hitting 300. Maybe DFA his ass. I mean, who knows? I mean, at these days, I mean, who freaking knows? I mean, Vicky Boone, by the way, our channel member, Vicky, good to see you. She says Joey Gallo could be hitting 400. He'd be pinch hit for by Cap. Yeah, it's probably not. There's probably some truth in that.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Anonymous. Gonzalez has options. Yeah, screw you. Screw you and your options. The guy's hitting 300. You got 6 different guys hitting under 225.
I think he's I don't want to hear
Gonzalez optioned out.
I think that's a facetious comment, meaning like,
I know it is. I know.
Send him out. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. It's getting old because, tonight. They get 12 runs, and then Kelly just shuts him down for 7 innings. And I actually, because I was staying at my brother's house tonight, I hadn't been here because of the golf tournament. I was like, I don't want to get in here at 11:30, kind of disturb them, get all set up. So I thought they're not coming back. In fact, I got in the elevator. It was packed. A bunch of people were leaving.
There was a mass exodus.
Yeah, this was in the top of the.
Are you saying that nobody believed? You weren't the only one who did not believe?
Yeah, I left at the end of the top of the 8th. I figured, you know what? Let's just beat it. I was going to wait till the bottom of the 8th, but when they got that other run in the 7th, and I said, you know what? Let's just leave 4-1. And I got in the elevator and I said, hey, last year we'd all be staying.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yeah. And I thought to myself, there's no way they're going to come back. But, I'm surprised they did. So I give them credit for coming back. But you still,
it's an L.
It's an L. And you lost to a team that is behind you, and you've lost now 3 out of 4 to them, right? Is that, yeah. They lost. Yeah.
They're 3 and Diamondbacks are 3-1 against the Giants.
Yeah. They're 3-1, and you have lost to the Detroit Tigers. You split with them. You got swept by the White Sox. You lost.
The White Sox are in just absolute disarray right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And they're 43-42, and they can't get on a hot streak. This is a time that you want to start winning big. And you're playing against.
I'm qualifying. If they win tomorrow, I'm qualifying this as I think that the heat has not yet been turned off. I think that it has now come to a simmer. But
the heat is on. The heat is on.
I think the heat is still on. It's on low. It's on very low.
Glenn Fry, the heat is on.
Yeah, it's going to take about 45 minutes to defrost these vegetables in the pan, but it's still, it's on. So they could turn it back up by getting a dub tomorrow and just, righting the ship. 3 out of 4. I'll take that. I will take that the way things have been going. 3 out of 18, then 3 out of 4.
Well, you know what they need to do? I mean, the All-Star break is coming up. There's a mental kind of resetting, even though.
Does it rhyme with shout?
Shout? Rhyme with shout? No, they just need to get hot.
Trout. He's saying Trout.
Oh, Trout. No.
Trout.
Okay, no. What they need
that would
to
be
do.
Sweet. You know, if Danny casually did it, he's like, look, you know what they need to do? They need to call up the Angels, and they need to offer Ramos, Bishop, Luciano, and Jelly for Trout. And then get Trout in here. And then he should help because, as you guys know, he's the best player in baseball.
No, I was just going to
so
say,
if we could just get Trout, and then I could eat my ice cream with, maybe a spoon, because they go for Trout.
Yeah, they got 6 games left before the All-Star game.
Hey, by the way, did you guys see Ricky Waters today? Did you guys say hi to Ricky Waters at all?
Yeah, I did. Did you put the picture up there, Ryan? I sent you. I talked to Ricky.
Isn't Ricky the man? By the way, isn't Ricky
I love
cool?
Ricky. I love Ricky.
Ricky's
cool.
awesome.
He's a really good guy. I said, hey, Ricky, man, it was great to see you as a Niner. I hated to see you go to Philly. And he said, I did too. I hated going to Philly. I didn't want to go.
You went. He was traded.
Well, what happened? He told me.
It's a free agent deal.
He said this is what happened. He said I was. What do they call that transition back then? The transition tag.
The transition tag.
Yeah, and he said
so they had the right to match, maybe.
Yeah, he goes. I had the worst contract of all the running backs of the Niners, and he says I gave him everything for the first 3 years. We went to the NFC Championship 3 years in a row. Went to the Super Bowl, and I had not a very good contract, and got an offer from Philly, and they didn't even match it. He said, so I didn't feel like they wanted me. Yeah.
There he is. Ricky's the man. Love Ricky.
Yeah. So I got my Niner hat on. He's got his, and he also had a nice, you can't see
he's a cool guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. You can't see that chain, that bracelet.
Medallion he's got going?
He's got a Niner. It's a Niner medallion.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. So
that was cool. Well, it was cool that you guys were out there. By the way, you guys are invited to the wait for it. Guess who's having a golf tournament and has invited the crew to the golf tournament?
95.7.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, Ryan, Dan, myself.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Squally, we are going to be out there.
I'm getting my sausage up here from Arizona.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. I told the boys down at New York Style Italian Sausage, we'll be there. It's going to be August the 29th at the San Jose Country Club.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you guys, Danny, do you think you might be able to make that August 29th?
I'm telling you that I am more excited to meet Pasquale than Ricky Waters.
August, would be awesome. Yeah, in fact, they even want us to hang around for there's a live auction afterwards. Lots of drinking. There'll be a nighttime event. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I bet Pasquale put them down.
Pasquale, how awesome would it be to sit there and pound drinks with Pasquale and just talk about that.
Wow. And
talk about the Sunday dinner.
Giants are home against San Diego for 3 starting Monday night.
I mean, that would just be awesome. That would just be awesome.
I'll have to come up and get some tickets.
August 20th.
Mark Graves.
Oh, sorry.
Mark Graves says sausages. Oh, wait, where is it? Sausages on the course. Oh, hell yeah. Welcome to the second hole. Get your linguiça. All right. And now you're on the fourth hole. It's time for some chorizo. Could you imagine if you had to power down a different Italian sausage in every hole? That would just be awesome.
I'd do it. Italian sausage challenge. Win a t-shirt.
Eric the midget. Lots of sausage slinging. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Eric. Kevin Fontana live stream the golf event. I mean, we have to do a full-on interview with Pasquale.
CNN 60-minute style. Not one bit about sports.
I just want Pasquale telling me more about the family dinner.
Yeah.
I want a new Pasquale video.
What's the name of the tournament? Is it Pasquale's tournament?
It's the New York style Italian sausage invitational. I don't know. I mean,
the NSIP.
It's that TPC sausage. You haven't been there? It's a great course.
Can anybody just sign up to play though? Or, you sign up and don't.
Pasquale T. Brizzle. Pasquale is the most interesting man in the world.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were.
No matter where the hell you were. Didn't matter where the hell you were. You showed up to dinner, Danny. All right. Not dessert, not ice cream in your hotel room. Dinner, Dan. Dinner.
On a Sunday? Because if it is, we may be having Sunday dinner with Pasquale.
No, it's Monday, the 29th, but I'm sure we're invited for dinner on the
Mark
night
Graves
before.
says, Danny, if you need someone to carry your bags, I'm in. That would just be awesome.
Hey, you find out if guys can sign
What
up.
if we just start playing in all these golf tournaments?
Yeah.
We're on like the tour. We've got like 22 dates throughout the summer. We're playing more golf than like the pros. Yes, welcome to the Sausage Invitational. Dan Coccimilgio lining up this putt. If he makes this putt, he gets a lifetime of Italian mild. And he sinks the putt, Danny. And he's carrying off the Italian mild.
The mustard's going wild.
DJ Overstop. It's a sausage fest on the green.
Oh, it will be.
Romo 2001, the Krueger army shows up in mass. That would be awesome. We show up with like 300 people.
We've got a crowd like we're freaking Tiger Woods and Masters just following us around.
People are trying to get across the ropes to meet Dan Coccimilgio. Stand back, everybody. Stand back. Back.
Everyone's like making too much noise before Dan's shots, and it's a full Shakespearean come circle, and Mark Graves just muting the crowd.
All of a sudden, somebody says, I think Coccimilgio might be at the putting green. Everybody just sprints over. That would be awesome.
He's like the crowds. Everybody's getting wound up, and they go, "Let's have it a little quiet, please." Coccimilgio's on the.
We need Jay Hutch. We need Graves on the
Jay Hutch. Yeah, Jay Hutch could do the announcing.
Jay Hutch here. Yeah.
My wife is sleeping right now, but Dan is lining up this putt, and he is going to sink it. AT&T anonymous AT&T Pro-Am. Danny paired with Tiger Woods.
So here it is. Here's Hutch. Okay, Dan is on the 18th green here. It's about to go for the win, and he's got.
My wife doesn't let me have sausage anymore because of the night.
He's got about a 22-footer to sink this for the tournament. So he lines it up. He pulls out his sausage. His putter.
What if we all had to use sausage putters? Danny is now gonna try to tap this putt in with his belly putter sausage. You're like,
it's like one of those like old dry Italian salamis that are pretty hard.
Yeah, exactly. Danny just sunk it with the Italian dry salami, ladies and gentlemen. The Italian dry salami. Dan's going down for the count. Oh my God, that is awesome. Oh, how about this one? Eric the midget. Dan has sausage wood covers. That would be awesome. That would just be absolutely awesome. Look at Dan's going down. That's it. We lost Dan. It's called the Dan Coccimilgio Memorial Tournament because we lost Danny talking about it on the 11th of July. That is awesome. Romo 2001. We've lost Dan. Oh man, that is awesome.
Oh gosh.
Oh, here we go. Eric the midget, sausage teas.
Oh, that'd be great. a little wiener.
Tee it high, let it fly. Tee it low, let it go.
Sausage pins with a little flag on top.
But instead it's like it's like a toothpick flag.
Mark Graves, is the course a sausage link course? Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. I mean, and you're master of ceremonies.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait for that. That is going to be awesome.
What is his last name? I don't know if I've ever actually read it. Is it
Pasquale? Let's try it again. Let's see.
It again. Let's see if I can nail it here.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God.
That's also a phenomenal line. Yeah, that is going to be terrific. And by the way, our friends at the New York Style Sausage Company, the New York Style Italian Sausage Company, said I should have some shirts and swag for you guys as of next week. We're gonna have sausage swag. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Sausage casing.
What if it's casing? What if we got casing? Yeah, it's like you can put your wallet in it. It's like a bag. You just tie a little hole on the bottom. It's just sausage casing.
Take it over to Trader Joe's. Use a reusable.
It's amazing. 19 different uses for sausage casing.
Sausage
oh
baggies
my god, that is so funny.
Baggies to keep your sausage fresh. Oh jeez.
Sausage cat wanted. DJ Overstop wanted sausage caddies, sausage hats. Oh my god, that would be incredible. Okay, a couple things before we're 10 minutes to midnight. Couple things I want to get your guys' thoughts on. First of all, any direction you guys want to take it. I think we've beaten up the Giants for the most part. I mean, you know what? They should have won this game. They let another game get away. It's just Kapler, I'll say it again. Kapler, zero feel. Last year, and this happens. Last year, everything he turned, he had the Midas touch.
That's
everything
true.
he turned to gold. Everything. He tried this, it worked. He tried that, it worked. It just worked. Everything worked. It was like the magical year. This year, the opposite. He's making moves. They don't work. They don't make any sense. They don't seem like they're packed with any real reason. If your only theory was the good thing, the one way to manage is play the hot hand, you would let Brandon Belt bat there. You would have looked at those first couple at bats from Bart, and you would have let him hit. Instead, he's pinch hitting and playing lefty righty games till the cows come home. So his feel, I don't know. He's lost it this year as far as his feel. Has he lost the room? I don't know. But when you start to see players' wives talking on Twitter about the manager's strategy, it makes you wonder. Does it not? I mean, is that hyper negative, guys, or is that a fair assumption that if Brandon Crawford's wife is tweeting about strategy, that maybe Cap and at least Craw may not see eye to eye, and he may, I don't know. I'm not in there, so I can't really say, these guys aren't behind Gabe, but it seems like he may have lost the room. He didn't come out for the anthem again tonight. They were honoring police. Danny, you were all fired up on that. Why don't you?
Yeah, I was really fired up.
On that?
I've got some video. They had. I've got video.
I have the
on
video.
My phone. There's police motorcycles lined up all along across the warning track from left field to right field, and they are honoring fallen heroes. And I videoed both sidelines. You'll see. It's interesting. Since I've been to the last three games I've seen, Crawford is out there every game, and he's got his hand over his chest, saluting, looking at the flag during the national anthem. You could see him right down there.
Yeah, and you know what I'll say for Crawford, I don't want to guess people's political affiliations, but of all the guys you could think of, like, you're like, okay, I mean we all know that guy's from Texas or what Crawford's he's a local guy. I really don't think he has some crazy beliefs. I think he's just
the thing is
probably has zero to do with politics.
Zero.
Tonight, political or not, whatever. I don't care what your political views are. You're honoring police in your city who have died in the line of duty, and you have a
get out there.
The team.
Remain standing now.
Should you want me to play the audio? Sorry,
I was
just checking. Yeah. Let's play a little audio. So we got it.
The San Francisco Police Department and the San Francisco Sheriff's Office. Please remain standing now for the performance of the national anthem. And following the anthem, look to the sky for a flyover from the California Highway Patrol.
So you can see the Diamondbacks are out there, some of the ones that were out there on the field. And it was beautiful. Everything was great. I panned everything thinking I'm going to see Gabe out there standing somewhere. Now, he may have been in the dugout. I don't care if he's in the dugout. You should step out and show yourself that you're supporting your city. I mean, these are people who have protected the city, and they have been, killed in the line of duty, and you can't get out there and show support. That to me is ridiculous. And I don't know if he, like
it's
I said,
it's poor optics.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And the Giants should have alerted. Maybe Gabe didn't know about it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he wasn't aware of it and he was in the clubhouse. But if that's the case, the Giants front office needs to notify him. Hey, Gabe, we've got this thing going tonight. We're honoring our city heroes. You need to be out there.
Well, the PA announcer did ask for everyone to stand up. And
I don't know where Kapler was. Maybe he was in the dugout.
You know what? Also, I just hopped on Twitter real quick to make sure there's not any breaking news. I do have a soundbite of Kapler on his decision to pinch hit Slater for Belt, who's 3.
Let's hear it. You got it.
If you use Slater for Gonzalez, you get Slater versus a righty. If you use Slater for Belt, you're not going to get countered because it's the third batter in the run. That's exactly what I told Belt. So look, like I'm hitting for you here because this is the only chance to get Slater a surefire at bat against a lefty in a big spot. So nothing to do with Brandon. It was all to get Slater the opportunity to get a big hit for us, which he's done so many times. So how do you get the platoon advantage in that situation? You make sure that they can't counter you. They have Noe Ramirez up for Gonzalez if you decide to go there. And so you just make the decision to go one batter earlier.
Whatever. I mean, seriously, at this point, whatever. I mean, that's how I feel about it. Is Slater better against lefties and righties? Yeah, he's 28 points better against lefties. He's a 288 hitter with a 396 on base against lefties. Okay. Those are pretty good splits, but once again, as we mentioned before, play the hot hand. I mean, you're talking about a player who what did Belt hit for home runs last year?
29.
Slater has 31 home runs in his career. So, I mean, think about that for a second. And Belt has 3 hits in the game. Belt's got 3 hits in the game, and he just told Alex Pavlovich that he's real close to getting back. And then he's obviously locked in. He's got 3 hits. He's notoriously streaky. He goes through prolonged streaks, good and bad. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously in a good streak. And he's got more home runs last year almost than the other guy's got in his entire freaking career. And you're playing lefty righty games with your captain.
Oh, I also didn't see that.
for a guy in Slater, and I'm not anti-Slater, but let's be honest. Slater has played in the big league since 2017. He's only even had one season where he's played more than 74 games. One season where he's played more than 74. He's the most at bats Slater's ever had in a season is 274 at bats in a season. And he's played 6 different seasons in the big leagues. And you're pinch hitting for Brandon Belt in a late inning situation when Belt's 6 for his last 7.
Okay, listen.
There's no feel. There's no feel at all. There's no even consideration for feel. It's all about this parade of lefty righty.
Listen to this. Listen to Belt's last at bats on Friday night. The Giants were down.
Also, Cobb. Just for getting this out there, Cobb, I guess, was sick today, and he still went out there and pitched. I guess he was throwing up
again. He was sick last time. They said he was throwing up last start. You sure that wasn't?
Must have been. Yeah,
Okay,
you're
so
right. You're right.
Okay. I was gonna say, man, dude gets sick every time he starts. That's pretty impressive.
Lamar Jackson.
So Brandon Belt, Friday night, Padres were up 6-1. Belt comes up in the 9th, gets a 2-run homer. Okay, Saturday, he's in the lineup on Saturday and goes 2 for 3. So now he's 3 for his last 4. Yeah, 12-0 win, he doesn't play. Today he's 3 for 3. So as you said, 6 for his last 7. But the first hit was a home run. And then tonight, he would have had a home run in every ballpark in America except Oracle. So the guy's starting to get his timing and going into this groove. And that was his last at bat, right? The one off the wall So then he pinch hits for him. Like you said, Larry, he has just no absolute
and then
feel.
Joey Bart is swinging, looks really good in these earlier at-bats. You've got Yermin Mercedes, who over his last 7 days is hitting 176. They're both right-handed hitters. Bart sits, Mercedes is in there. Like Mercedes is, some established badass. It's baffling. The whole thing's baffling. It's frustrating because there's no real feel there. It's just a parade of the stats spit this out. This is what we're going with. I don't know. We'll find out in the coming weeks, but it seems like he's losing the room a little bit. I don't know.
Well, what did
sure.
Rodon said before his incredible start in San Diego? What he was interviewed last week, and he said, I don't know what needs done, but something has to change. So, and then you got Crawford's wife, like you said, tweets about how about a bunt once in a while. So that's 2 veterans that are kind of like voicing. I mean, what's Rodon?
That's arguably
really
your
saying?
best hitter and your best pitcher.
Yeah. What is Rodon
and the
saying?
wife of your best, one of your best veterans.
Yeah. What's Rodon saying when he says something's got to change? Is he talking about players or attitudes, or is he talking about management? I think
he's talking about maybe management style and general vibe that's allowed to persist. Like you were saying about the kind of hands off, you guys can work as much as you want or little as you want.
It's a leaderless team, I think, because the leaders are been neutered by their ineffectiveness.
Exactly.
The leaders are Belt and Crawford and Longoria and La Stella. Your regulars who are veterans are your leaders, but all those guys are having bad years. So that kind of neuters their ability to really speak out. And that's why guys like Rodon and Wood are kind of charged with doing that. Hey, a couple things before we call it quits. What do you guys think of the Jimmy Garoppolo to Seattle talk today?
That's wild.
I thought it was a nothing.
You think that's nothing?
I mean, I just don't understand. And I saw Middlecoff. I'm glad Middlecoff actually.
I've got Dave Softy Muller, by the way, joining me and John Dickinson tomorrow at 2:00 on the game from
awesome.
KJR up in Seattle. And I'm going to ask him about it. So tune in tomorrow for that.
Sweet. I mean, that sounds awesome. I just don't understand. I don't understand. And Middlecoff, I'm glad he said this. So I don't want to sound like, I'm stealing from Middlecoff. I had the same thought. you see all these stupid reports. You see it in every league, and it's like anonymous, league executive says the Seahawks have been doing their work on Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, well, yeah,
that's their job. Every team's job is to do that.
Your league does that. So like,
Right.
you're just releasing information that's true that you can say about any team for some sort of leverage reason, for some sort of something jockeying, but I don't think you saw the same thing with Baker, and it was completely unsubstantiated by all accounts. So, yeah,
I think it's posturing.
I wouldn't even be surprised if it was posturing by the Niners, because looking at this Baker.
But do you guys have a problem with it? Would you have a problem trading Jimmy in the division? Because there's two,
I don't
rules
think
of thought of it.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
You would not do it? Or you
No,
wouldn't have a
because
worry
he
about
knows-
doing it?
I wouldn't do it because he knows the Niners offense so well.
Yeah, why give them a slightly above or average quarterback when they could be rolling with Drew Lock? It's like your division's hard enough as it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Seattle's got $15 million of cap room, so that's more than the Niners. Niners have about $4 million, but Garoppolo's contract's $24.2 million. So they couldn't take it on. Seattle couldn't take it on without maneuvering, or maybe having the Niners take some of the money. It is interesting, though. I mean, if you saw Garoppolo traded to Seattle, I mean, Seattle has beaten the 49ers 13 of the last 16 times in the head-to-head matchups. And Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reported that Seattle's doing research on Garoppolo as the Niners continue to look for a trade partner. And he shared that John Lynch and the Niner front office and the Seahawks are watching film and doing their due diligence. But as Rice said, that's kind of the job. That's kind of their job
if you're
to
going to
do
trade
that.
him to Seattle versus, say, something like Cleveland, I would say if you're going to trade him to Seattle, that means they want him.
Get a better,
bad.
get a good price.
Get a second for him.
Yeah.
But if you're going to, I think what's more realistic is he gets traded to Cleveland for maybe a 4th or 5th round pick.
Dan, just to jump in here real quick, just because this Baker saga that went on forever, it was so similar. Where, I mean, for by all accounts, the deal was done. He was going to the Panthers for the past 2 months, but the problem is Cleveland kept trying to get more, and they kept trying to get more, and the Panthers were like, who are we bidding against? We are the only team that wants him. We are the only team that works with you for a trade.
Right.
They kept trying to get these teams like Seattle to all of a sudden stories. Oh, they're doing their due diligence on Baker. It's the same exact situation with Jimmy. There's only one team that is reasonable that can eat his contract, and that is Cleveland.
Right.
And at this point, I'm sure that John Lynch and those guys are like, they're Cleveland just got stonewalled for Baker, so now they're turning around. They're like doing the same exact thing to the Niners. Oh, you want to trade him? Okay, here's a 5th round pick.
You know what? I think personally, I think Cleveland is the Niners. If Cleveland wants him, the Niners hold the keys there because Cleveland doesn't have a quarterback if Watson gets suspended to take him to the playoffs.
They have
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, he's not the guy that can lead them. He's not the guy.
Games of Brissett and 8 games of Watt. Like, let's say it comes down.
Let's say Watson gets suspended for the entire year. I think
they're saying it might be more than a year.
Well, let's say
that's what I saw speculated in the last couple of days, that it may not be. It may be like a 20-game suspension or something.
Okay.
Unprecedented. He did try to pay off. He did offer 22 different accusers $100,000 each to settle.
Yeah,
that's pretty incriminating right there.
Yeah,
that means this guy's guilty in my mind.
Definitely, sounds like it. But here's the thing: if the NFL suspends him for 8 games, the Browns will go with Brissett for 8 games and wait for Watson and hope they can be, at least 4-4. Okay,
they may wind up costing themselves a playoff berth if they do that. But go ahead.
But if it's for the year, they're definitely going to go for Garoppolo because they're not going to take Brissett for 17 games. Cannot take you to where Cleveland's roster is capable of going. So I don't see that happening. I see them going for Garoppolo, and I say that the Niners could play a little hardball and say, well, we're thinking of keeping Jimmy, because we want him as a backup. He knows our system, and they hold the card.
No, we don't though, because then what? Then Debo, no Debo, no.
No, it's just for this year. It's just for this year. They can extend
If you're Jimmy,
Debo
where would you rather go? If the Niners came to you and said, "Hey, we got Seattle interested, and we got Cleveland interested. Where do you want to go?" And you're Jimmy. Where do you want to go?
I'm going to Cleveland because they got a good running game and they're ready to win.
Yeah, same system, and it's the perfect opportunity for him to go somewhere, have a prove it year, and then he'll be
That's
right.
why I said about a month and a half ago.
If you go to Seattle.
Yeah,
but I don't think
you're also just. I mean, there's a better chance of you just stinking it up in Seattle and never getting.
I kind of think Seattle might be a nice spot just from the standpoint of they've got a pretty decent, rushing attack now with Kenneth Walker the third. And if you had Jimmy on a pitch count and you could play defense, I'll say this. Tom Pelissaro from the NFL Network reported today, and he cited sources, that the assumption around the NFL is that the Niners will find a trade partner for Garoppolo in the next few weeks, which is what I've been saying consistently, that I really think they will trade him. He's quoted here as saying, team execs are just starting to come back from vacation. He tweeted this out. Most training camps open in 2 weeks, and the expectation within the league continues to be that Garoppolo is traded somewhere by the end of the month. I'll say this. If Jimmy Garoppolo puts on a 49er uniform for a second and shows up on the practice field for even a second, I will be shocked.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocked. I think there's no chance I think that if they don't trade him at the beginning of camp, he won't be there. They'll say Jimmy's throwing at a remote location. He's not here. I do not think he's showing up in camp and taking the field. I just don't. I don't think the risk.
The risk is he gets injured. They have to pay him.
Then his contract's guaranteed. Yeah,
and he's not available.
And there's the risk of the you got your guys out there like Debo and Kittle that are still. They're still Jimmy guys.
Right. They may like him. Yeah.
So and if you're Debo and, now this and all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't know if your contract thing's going to get sorted. Who would you rather be your quarterback in terms of, gaining the most value? Well, you can. It's Jimmy. He showed he can do it. Jimmy's kind of the perfect guy for Debo. So, yeah, I don't think you want Jimmy anywhere near that locker room. I think you want it to be fresh and Trey Lance's locker room. And yeah, Let
me ask you one more, because this one I think is kind of interesting. I mean, really think about this for a second. Okay. So if I gave you a betting slip with let's say $100,000,
yeah,
on the Niners to win the Super Bowl, right? And you can either have just Trey Lance and no confusion about Jimmy Garoppolo, no Garoppolo at all, just Trey Lance, or you could have Trey Lance and Jimmy. And it's your $100,000 ticket on the Super Bowl. Which would you go with? Would you take Jimmy and Garoppolo, or Jimmy and Trey? Or would you take Jimmy and Garoppolo? Would you take Jimmy and Trey, or would you just take Trey?
Would you take Pasquale
would you
and
rather,
sausage, or would you take?
Exactly.
I'd grew up with a Sunday dinner.
No, but if it wasn't the Sunday dinner, if it was just Jimmy and Trey, or just Trey, what would you rather have? As far as you've got a $100,000 ticket, you're fully invested on the 49ers winning the Super Bowl this year. You want two quarterbacks just in case one goes down? Or do you want one with a clear delineation that you are the starter? It's your team, it's your deal, it's your party going forward. It's all about you, Trey. What do you guys want?
Here's the thing. This is the question can almost be answered like this, because this is on, and people might rip me for making
answer the question right.
Okay, sorry. Listen to this. Would you, if you had I'm gonna go Kapler on you. If you had $100,000 ticket on the Golden,
I'm going with the lefty against the righty, and I'm going with the righty against the lefty.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
If you had $100,000 ticket, and you could either have the Warriors next year with all their young players and everybody, or would you rather have $100,000 ticket with KD, but no Wiggins, no Poole, no Kuminga, and no Wiseman? I mean, I think that we'd all probably say it'd be better off. We'd be better off with KD in terms of 1 year.
I wouldn't. I would say I would go with the depth because I think strength in numbers, especially with an older team, right? I mean, I kind of think we saw this play out against Toronto, where they had KD, but then they had guys go down, and then all of a sudden you're looking at Toronto, and Toronto looked like world beaters. And were they world beaters? Not really, but they were deeper.
Yeah,
they were the deeper team. But so I think you do need stars.
But we'd become maybe plus 120. I was listening to some Vegas guys talking about this. Maybe plus 120 to win the title if we
I hear you, but there's an injury concern. And if the injury, I think injuries are, especially with older players and Steph, Clay, Draymond, KD, your four best players would all be considered a little old. I would say that you'd have to baby them in the regular season to get them through it.
I know, but if we're doing this like if we're going into complete minutia, then I'd be like, well, if I wouldn't want to have Jimmy and Trey because that means Debo wouldn't be happy and maybe Debo leaves and also maybe Jimmy could get injured. So in that case, I would just say keep Trey. But if we're just saying, let's say you're rolling into the playoffs with Trey and Jimmy, or rolling into the playoffs with KD and those guys, or Wiggins in the youngers, then that I'd go with both of those options. However, if I'm trying to win, if you gave me $100,000 ticket on the 49ers winning a Super Bowl one time out of the next 3 years, I would rather Trey. Because we need Trey to develop, and we need the guys to be happy, and we need everybody.
Okay, that's fair. But for this year, you'd rather have you take Trey and Jimmy, or just Trey?
I mean, but does that mean that there's no Debo?
No.
Debo, right? Debo is under contract right now. Debo does not have an ability to leave right now.
What if he sat out the year?
Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately, what we think is that the money that is going to Jimmy is earmarked for a Debo extension. But there are other ways they could clear up enough cap room to give him the extension if they wanted to this year, and have both quarterbacks, and then extend Bosa, let's say, a year from now. So there are avenues in which it could be done if they wanted to extend Debo. That's interesting that you brought Debo into it, because I didn't even thought about that.
Okay, I mean, I'll go with Trey then.
You go with Trey, because you don't want any controversy, and you want all the momentum going behind the one guy.
Yeah, we need to get it built. We need to build it at some point. We need to see what we have in Trey. Also, Jimmy, Jimmy, I'm a Jimmy guy. I think Jimmy's still a top, half of the league quarterback. But
Danny, where are you on this? Because I mean, he's arguing the old saying, if you have two quarterbacks, you really have none, right?
Yeah, I'm of the different view of this. If I have Jimmy as a buy-in that he is got a chance to beat Trey out, okay, he goes in, and whoever wins the battle, you have another battle. I mean, this is Jimmy's last year for sure. I mean, last year we thought it was, but this is he has no more contract. So you still have Trey for 3 years after this. So my feeling is, if they have a battle, I think Trey wins the quarterback competition, because he's got all the reps in spring, at the OTAs, and he's been the number one guy while Jimmy's out. So he's got an advantage at this point going into, camp in summer. So I believe that your best shot is keeping Jimmy, because if let's say Trey goes 5-1 and he's doing great, and then all of a sudden he goes down, and now you got Trey Lance out for 8 weeks.
This is what I was talking about recently with you guys.
This is what we saw 2 seasons in a row that Garoppolo went out. The 49ers, their season was done. They didn't have a backup quarterback. Nick Mullins or C.J. Beathard were not able to get it done. If you got Jimmy Garoppolo coming in, he could take you to the Super Bowl. He's proven that. And if he's healthy and he does that, I mean, he's motivated to play well. He's kind of like your Nick the guy with the Philadelphia, Nick
Foles.
he would be like Nick Foles in a sense that if he comes in, steps in into a situation, now he's got himself a chance to get a big contract again. So Jimmy's got his. I think it works out well for the Niners, and I think it plays out well for Jimmy in a way because he can be there for Trey if Trey is, let's say Trey's not the guy they think he is. I mean, let's say he doesn't get hurt, but let's say he's, he goes 1-5 and he's stinking up the joint.
Let's say he goes 3-2 and looks a little shaky. I mean, it's
I
too
mean,
much.
you don't want to have a controversy.
Your veterans would be like, are we going to throw away a season when we have this Jimmy guy on the bet? Yeah.
So
are the Niners hedging their bet? Nick Martinez says if you're hedging your bet, then you have to have both. Trey, if he's good, then you have a backup. If Trey is bad, Jimmy can go in. I would say you got to, personally, if it was my money, if I had $100,000 ticket on the Niners winning the Super Bowl, I'd want both quarterbacks for the reason that, one, I mean, look at the greatest that Joe Montana ever played. It was when Steve Young was breathing down his neck. What was the greatest that Steve Young ever played? When Joe was breathing down his neck.
Yeah.
We saw it last year.
I just think I think I'm the old Harbaugh iron sharpens iron. I kind of agree with that one, but and also I'm looking at it differently. Like I think Trey's going to play really, really well. I really do, but he also is going to run. And he's going to take some hits. And Trey, I would not be shocked if Trey comes out and in the first 6 weeks they go 5-1 and he looks great. And then I also wouldn't be shocked if then he suffered an injury and missed 5 or 6 games and that they lost a lot of those games because the backup quarterback's no good or not ready to play or not ready. They can't win with their backup quarterback. And then it could be another one of these deals where they've got a pretty good team and Trey is definitely the future and everybody's sold on him, but they didn't qualify for the playoffs in the NFC. And now it's another wasted year because of quarterback injuries. And you wind up missing out on the playoffs. So I would want Jimmy there to navigate through the 17-game regular season so I can make sure I get into the postseason tournament. But that's my bigger concern. Not necessarily is Trey going to bomb. I think Trey's going to be really, really good. I think he's going to be really good, but he couldn't get hurt.
Again, the Niners hold the cards here, I believe, because they can tell Jimmy, look, Jimmy, we're going to cut you. And we cut you, you're going to have to go sign, and you're probably not going to get anything but maybe $10 million somewhere. We want you to stay, but we're going to offer you $12 million, maybe $14 million.
I don't think Jimmy's like that. I think Jimmy wants to play.
Well, but if you cut him, he doesn't have any guarantees. Maybe he goes to Cleveland, or Seattle. That's
or he can just wait for a few weeks until somebody gets hurt. That's the other thing too. Is that we had Jay Cornegay on. What was that? A week ago, 2 weeks ago. And Jay said that he made a really interesting observation. We were talking about NFL over-unders. And he said, you know what, Lair? I like the under. And when I said, well, Jay, we haven't told you what team we're talking about yet. How do you like the under? He's like, I know, but generally I like the unders. Why? Because there's an injury factor that we all know is coming. So several of these teams will be less than what they are currently. That's why you're not going to invent new players, but you are going to suffer injuries to your current players. So that made a lot of sense to me. That you just don't know when the injuries are coming. So I don't know. It makes me think that I'd like to have depth. I'd like to have depth. 916_49er says I'll take depth every time.
Well, what if, couldn't we have like more depth theoretic? I don't know. Well, how about just this one? This is the explosive question that's going to make people go against each other in the chat. If you had $100,000 ticket next year and we just said either you can have Trey Lance as your quarterback and there's no Jimmy G, or Jimmy G is your quarterback and Trey Lance just doesn't exist. For your $100,000 ticket to win the Super Bowl, who would you rather have?
I'm going with Trey. I think Jimmy. You going with Jimmy?
Yeah, and I'm not
even. I'll go with Trey on that too, because I think he gives the element that we haven't seen this 49er offense do. And
here's the one thing about Jimmy that I think is kind of interesting, as far as we don't hear this discussed a whole lot, but this to me is a major factor when I'm thinking about Jimmy and the viability going forward. Jimmy Garoppolo's career passer rating, guys, when throwing the ball 30 plus yards down the field is 35.3. Since 2014, on balls thrown 30 plus yards down the field, Jimmy G is 5 of 30 for 264 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 picks. His completion percentage on those throws is 16.7%. Among the 54 quarterbacks that have 30 plus attempts, that is the second worst among all those quarterbacks. The league average for completion percentage on those throws is 31%, and he's at 16.7%.
What was his rating? His rating was 30 something?
No, his rating was 35.3.
I'm curious, what's Aaron Rodgers over in that? He's got to be a rating of like 70.
Wait,
now you're asking me to look stuff up.
I showed this to Dan. So remember how I said I wanted to maybe, the way we did the NFL team draft, maybe a quarterback draft. So the way I figured out the best way to do it, I think, is my 2 favorite stats are QBR, because it takes into account strength of schedule. It takes into account running. It takes into account depth of target, not just like screen passes and stuff. And then my second favorite one, and it's a completely different approach, is the PFF grades, because they do look at every snap and all of that kind of stuff, and it's more eye test. So I just did a thing where I added both of them together and divided by 2, and then it gave me a list like 1 through 31 of the quarterbacks.
Right.
I'm interested what you think of this. I even tiered them out. This is for last year, just to get an idea of what it would look like. This is from last year. So the 50% mark, 50% would be what number? 61.85 would be average amongst these numbers. So Jimmy was a 62.3, so 0.5 above league average. I think that's about right.
And this is on what? This is
PFF combined with QBR, so like 50-50.
Okay.
So it would
so 2 different metrics melded together
because they both, one's more eye test based, tape based,
and you know what, that is, to me, that is exactly where he ranks. If you wanted to say, where does Jimmy rank among the quarterbacks, this is it right here. 17th.
Yeah.
You could make an argument for 1 or 2 guys beneath him. You can make an argument for 1 or 2 guys above him. He's basically 17th. Is he a top tier NFL quarterback? Hell no, he's not. Is he a bottom tier NFL quarterback? No. He's right in the middle, a little bit past the middle. So there's 32 teams in the NFL. He's 17.
He's 17, but he's also closer to 1 than he is to, wait, is that right? Wait, that's 19. He's about the same. Okay, he's slightly closer to 1 than he is to 31, although he is 17.
But Lamar Jackson is behind him.
Yeah, well, Lamar Jackson, honestly, he had a horrible year last year. He had 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, didn't rush. And it's not like these stats. He was the QBR leader 2 years ago with an 85 QBR. This year, he was 20. This year in QBR, which takes into account running, he was 17. And then he was 21 on Pro Football Focus. And I actually think that tracks.
I bet you $100 this year he ends up in the top 10.
I know. But I'm just, this isn't predictive. It's just results based. So,
I mean, Kirk Cousins seems high there. Wow. That's like
Kirk Cousins had a great year.
8th. Wow.
He also has terrific receivers. And David Hasselhoff says, I'm not sure if it's the same David Hasselhoff from Baywatch, but he says, in every scenario you create, I choose Trey, period, with lots of exclamation points. I seen him play. I'm tired of all these numbers people talk about to try to make him seem good. Seem good? And you mean seem bad?
Seem bad.
Yeah. Okay. I think he misspoke there. Maybe he's talking about Jimmy at the end there. Interesting. Very, very interesting stuff for sure. I would not. I do think Trey will. I do think Jimmy will get dealt. I do think he'll probably be to a Browns type team. I think the Niners will send him to an AFC team. Browns is just so picturable.
I've kind of seen that one coming, and I don't know if it'll happen. But when this whole thing came out a couple months ago with Watson and all these suits, I said the NFL is going to suspend that. Garoppolo is a perfect fit for the Browns. Nobody's talking about it because, they were just saying. I just think that's what's going to happen. I don't know why, but I think it'll be really good. And I'll pull for Jimmy. I'll pull for the Browns. Actually, in the AFC, I'd love to see him do well.
And it makes sense, by the way, if you're sitting there going, well, why is this? Why hasn't this already, happened? Well, I speculated a long time ago that they don't want to release him because then they know that he's going to wind up potentially in the division. Right. And what if he beats them? What if he beats them head to head in the division? Immediately, the heat is turned up on John Lynch. So if you're John Lynch, why would you cut him loose, get nothing for him, and have him wind up in the division if you think you might be able to squeeze something out of a trade and send him to the AFC?
The thing is, Larry, they still may release him, but you don't want to release him now. You want to release him like at the last possible moment so that he can't go to Seattle.
Okay, well, let me push back on that one, Danny. That sounds good in theory, but these games are being played. Your locker room's made up of human beings, and those human beings, like Jimmy Garoppolo, many of them have told us as much. If you're viewed as doing anything that's hostile to Jimmy, there may be some pushback from some of your veterans. You may wind up with an unhappy locker room, and you don't want that reputation around the league as you weren't player friendly or you did your guys wrong, right? That would be my concern there.
That's a good point. I could see that because these guys do stick together.
And players, they're always looking for the tiniest thing to be slighted, right? So it's like, oh, wait a second, you did Jimmy wrong after what he took you to the Super Bowl and he led you here. We all know that's a bunch of crap.
He came out and he played with a broken thumb and his shoulder was messed up, and he still got you the NFC Championship game, and he was, he gave it his all to this organization. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that would not be a good.
Nick Martinez says that's how Harbaugh lost the Niners, Larry. He yanked Alex Smith's sheets for Kaepernick, and there were guys in that room that had been fighting the good fight behind Alex, and it maybe turned some of them off. I think most people wanted to see the Niners go with Kaepernick because I think he had demonstrated a higher upside. But yeah, in hindsight, especially after watching the way Smith developed in Kansas City, who knows? Maybe there was more development there. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the Niners beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl with Alex Smith. I don't know. I don't know how that would have shaken out.
Also, I want to clean something up because people are coming after that list. And of course, any list you make, people are going to always cherry pick the one that stands out. And I just thought, for the most part, I actually thought this list was really good and was really, really close to what was last year. The one everyone's going to look at, and what everyone is saying is like, oh, it's complete crap because Lamar Jackson is below Jimmy G's at 18. That's way too low for Lamar Jackson. I agree. Lamar Jackson's a top 10 quarterback in the league, but we need to be realistic. He had last year, these were his stats. And the other thing is QBR and PFF are both adjusted for strength of schedule. He had a very easy early strength of schedule at the beginning of the year. He was started 6-1. His finishing stats in 12 games were 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 6 fumbles lost, 2 rushing touchdowns, and had the most sacks of his career by 20. And he's had years in the past where he's had 35, 40, almost 40 touchdowns. He's had, 7 or 8 rushing touchdowns. He's, done all this great stuff. So he just had a bad year last year. That's okay. It's okay to say that. This list is not representative of him going forward or being predictive whatsoever. He just had a rough year last year.
I think we should do a draft in the future. And real quick before I know we're getting ready to head out, pop up our lineups that we did today in our draft and have Larry pick the team he would go with.
God.
My,
All right,
my team-
while you're getting that ready, let's do this. We'll pay off our sponsors. We'll come back and finish up with that coming up next on the Krueger Show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, Telmetrix.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Crew. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com, or at his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krug Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krug Show t-shirt, the Krug Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krug Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh, no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
All right, welcome back to the Krueger Show. Larry Krueger, Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio, wrapping up on this Monday night. Tuesday morning, I should say, because we are now past midnight, 12:36. We're an hour and 38 minutes into the live stream. Game went a little long tonight, so we went a long game. Little late. Normally, I'm starting at 9 a.m., but tomorrow I start at noon, so I can. Though we do have a little business in the morning, but. We go push past midnight now tonight to try to do a little bit longer show and have a little bit more fun. All right, you were going to post some of those numbers, and I was going to pick the team, right?
You know what? First, let's go. Let's. I'm just going to put up the order the players went because I think you'd be surprised. It was pretty funky. Granted, we were doing this very much on the fly, and there was some strategy involved.
Who had the first pick? You did, because we flipped a coin. That's right.
This was on the course?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, while we were doing, yeah.
This is well, I guess I can scroll over. So if you look under column E here.
Yep, that was the order.
Yeah. So Dan went 1. So
I picked first? I thought you did.
No, I won the coin toss and I deferred to take 2.
That's right. Okay.
So you went. Danny went 1. You went 2, 3, and then he went 4, and then you went back and forth.
We figured that we'd get lost in the snake draft, so we just went every other because it was just the 2 of us.
Okay.
So
Danny went with Rodon, and the question was what?
It's just like, what do you think? So like,
players on the team.
Like we picked.
Danny took Rodon, then I took Webb, then he took Jock. I went Alex Wood because I was thinking.
This is for what? What was the criterion? What were we choosing?
Yeah, maybe let's just show the rosters. Yeah. Okay, this was the criteria. We had to fill out 3 starting pitchers, 4 relievers, all the positions plus 2 utilities. We had to fill out a roster with only the guys that played a game on the San Francisco Giants this year, thinking it would be kind of funny because it's just like a crazy, we've had so many crazy people. At the end, I was left with either Papirski or Fairchild, and I had to go Stewie. What are we thinking here? If this was a 3-game series, what are you thinking? Obviously, I went big on the starting pitching. He got stuck with Junis and Sam Long. I mean, Junis is pretty good, but Rodon, Junis, Sam Long, and then my bullpen is pretty stout. His bullpen's a little meh. But then his lineup just blows mine out of the water and defensively.
Well, what happened is I was going to pick Casale as my catcher, and it was his pick.
I got frustrated because Dan picked Estrada and then picked Crawford, and so that was both the shortstops were off the board. And then I got so mad because my only option was to go Mauricio Dubon or whatever that guy's name, Walton. So instead, in a spite move, I picked Bart, knowing that if he didn't pick Casale with the next pick, that I could get Bart and Casale, and then he'd be forced to go Austin Wins in the starting lineup.
I guess I would lean a little bit towards Danny just from the standpoint of Junis looked like, pretty good before he went out. Sammy Long, I'm partial to because of the sack state. I do kind of like your bullpen better, Rye.
Oh, for sure.
I like your bullpen better. But, I like Marte in that bullpen. When healthy, I like Jose Alvarez quite a bit. I'm leaning towards Danny because of the lineup. He's got Peterson, Ramos, Luis Gonzalez, Crawford, Flores, Strada. I mean, that's a better lineup. Your lineup is more like, Belt and Villar.
I was built more around pitching. I was forced into this. I didn't want to, but the way the draft went, I ended up going for, the strong starting pitching, the great bullpen, and some great outfield defense with Yaz, Duggar, and Slater in the outfield. And then, just
a slight lean. I'm going to go slight lean to Danny there.
That is completely fair.
Yeah, slight lean.
But it was a fun exercise to do.
Oh, absolutely. I loved what we did the other day with the. Do we have that? Where we can put that up for people?
Is it?
Do we have that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick. Clarence speaks on this. It says, my mild sausage is ready for the Pasquale Invitational.
Ryan and I kind of threw
#Krueger Show Rowdies. I love that.
Ryan and I threw some shade at you today at the course with your couple of your picks.
You did what? No.
Yeah, we kind of said something. We kind of said that your picks of the Seahawks and Cardinals will be your first 2 out that you eliminate. And that I was feeling pretty good because Dan
was taking the high horse of, I've got the Niners. I don't have to root against anybody in the division. Oh, look at Larry. And then we laughed maniacally.
Larry's got to be pulling for the Seahawks and the Cardinals while.
Okay, so this is for those who are listening and not looking at this document. We basically went with there's a little point system, and you get points for the regular season, and then 1 extra point
for every playoff win, and it goes up by there. It goes up. So regular season, you get a point per win. You get then a second point if they win in the playoffs, and then each round you get another point. So you basically you can understand the concept of the regular season matters, but the postseason matters more. So you're trying to get as many teams in the postseason as possible. And there you have it. Okay, so now let's go take a look at the list again, the 3 lists. Okay, so
and the bottom 2 get dropped.
Right. So Dan has Bucks, Packers, Niners, Eagles, Bengals, Saints, Raiders, Steelers.
What do I do? I have a question about this. We got to drop 2, but what do we do if all 8 of my teams make the playoffs? I still have to drop 2.
You still got to drop 2. Yeah, you have to pick. And then you say you're gonna have to handicap your teams.
Strategery.
So
I do like that.
Here's the thing: Packers are a real good bet because they've won like 13 a year. True. They win rhythmically. The Eagles are a little bit of a risk because you're still going with Jalen Hurts, and it's a volatile mix.
Minshew, not bad,
right? But then you got the Bengals coming off a Super Bowl loss. We kind of know that they typically take a backslide.
Yeah.
And then you got the Steelers and the Saints with quarterback questions with Jameis and Trubisky. And the Raiders are always pretty volatile. So I like it. The 49ers might make or break you, Danny, to be honest. Because if the Niners are disappointing, you're probably out. I like it. And then now let's look at Rye. Rye has Rams, Chargers, took both LA teams. And he just lived in LA. So I don't know about that. He's got the insider dope there. Then Ravens, Broncos, Cowboys, Vikings, Dolphins, and then the Commanders. Well, I kind of liked, of all the picks he made, I like that Dolphin pick at the end because the Dolphins could really be a surprise team. And he's got them very late. So that's a good one. I think that Cowboy pick's pretty safe. I really do. I think they're going to win a lot of games.
I kind of like the Vikings this year too.
The Ravens pick is a tremendous pick because I think the Ravens are better than their record was. I think the danger here is the Rams regression because the one thing with the Rams is all of their money is tied up in the stars. And so if they have a couple of stars go down, their lack of depth, I think, could burn them. I like the Chargers quite a bit.
Well, but Larry, also, you could almost completely knock me out. Like if the Chiefs win the division, like convincingly and just like, they just show their daddy. I've got the Chargers and the Broncos. That could really screw me. I've got Chargers and Broncos in my top 4. If you are able to if the Chiefs are able to win that division, that could really spell trouble for me.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that I've got all 4 division winners in the AFC. I mean, as far as, I shouldn't say 4 because Patriots and Bills are same division. So Bills, Colts, Chiefs, Pats, I think all win the division. Pats can't. But I really think that Pats, Chiefs, Colts, Bills are all going to be 10-win type teams.
You got 3 teams. No, nobody's
got
3
teams. I feel really good about.
You low-key padded your numbers with the. I almost want to just for frame of reference because I don't think you realized that remember you didn't realize that the Chiefs were still on the board when you took the Colts. Yeah. I think that spiritually the Chiefs were your second pick and the Colts were your third because it was at the turn.
Yeah,
I mean, doesn't really matter, but
yeah. So, but I mean, Colts. The Colts now have Matt Ryan, and the Pats are saying that Mac Jones. It looks like an MVP candidate. I'm going with the Titans just on Vrabel and their strength in the line of scrimmage, but they lost AJ Brown, and I don't know what mindset Tannehill's going to be in coming into this year. And then the Browns.
Oh my God,
total crapshoot! But I think the Browns are going to get Jimmy. And I think Jimmy's going to play well there. And then Cardinals, the Cardinals were, what were the Cardinals at the break? Weren't they, halfway through, weren't they like 7-1 out of the chute?
Yeah.
So they're volatile. And the Seahawks,
are volatile as well, but I just think that they're a winning type team. A lot of people feel like they're packing it away for next year's quarterback.
One could say it's pretty safe you're going to be rooting for Jimmy G this year.
Yeah.
Either on the Niners, on the Browns, or on the Seahawks.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I feel really good about Bills, Chiefs, Colts, Patriots. Yeah. And then I feel really risky about Titans, Browns, Cardinals, Seahawks. I got 4 blue chippers and 4 risks, and they're real clear to me. It's like, I would be shocked if Patriots, Colts, Chiefs, or Bills don't win 10 games each. But the other teams, I also would not be shocked if you told me that the floor fell out for Titans, Browns, Cardinals, and Seahawks.
I'm not going to lie. My first 2 picks, which should be your most confident, are where I feel the most uncomfortable. I'm like, I like my depth, but for my first 2, I think there's just a clear drop off between the Bucks, not necessarily in terms of the team, but just in terms of the outlook of them winning their division and likely getting the high seed. I think Bucks and Bills far above the Rams. And then, the freaking Packers always win and the Chiefs are pedigreed. And I went Chargers over Chiefs.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing because it's probably going to come down to within. My guess is it'll be within two games, at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, well, it's the points. It's going to come down. What's going to be fun is we're going to have a regular season champ likely, and then there's a really good chance that the ultimate champ is going to be a different person because they're whoever's team wins the Super Bowl or makes a run.
Wait a second. Mark Graves said that earlier in the chat, Danny was throwing shade on me.
Oh, he just had to come.
Oh,
look at that. So
we were like, oh, Graves, I'm sorry. We appreciate the mute. The Graves energy is always great, but we can't mute him today because it would mute both of us.
All right, we'll bring Danny back, but it wouldn't be a live stream if Danny wasn't muted by Mark Graves. And if you're tuning in saying why can one of the hosts on the post game show get muted by just a person in the chat? Well, if you look closer, Mark Graves is not just a person in the chat. He has got the green designation. He's a member of the club, so we've given him the power to mute or unmute Dan Coccimilgio. So.
Yeah, and I asked Graves today to help me make a pick.
I like how Danny's communicating with all of the people outside of the parameters of the show.
He was in the chat today when Ryan and I were picking, right? And I said, Graves,
at the golf tournament.
I needed one pick. Did he give me Lavera? Who did he give me?
Yeah, you had Lavera.
No, but who was my last pick?
I think
who did I go with?
Maybe did he tell you to go with Marte.
Okay. I was gonna say if you gave me Lavera and after tonight not stepping off the mound, I was gonna mute you for 15-minute timeout. No, I'm the one that picked Lavera. I picked him off his performance the last few days, but.
Al 925 says, how's 95.7 treating you, Larry? Was Willard treating you good? Yes, Willard was treating me good, but Willard was not loving my Joey Gallo trade. And
throw back at him. Whenever he does that, just remind him that he didn't want to judge for Yaz.
Yeah,
just always throw that.
I've got that in the back pocket.
Just always throw that. Hey, one of these days we got to do something with coaches. Because I was thinking as you were putting up those 32 teams that we picked and or available, and then there's 30 major league managers, and I'm thinking Arizona Cardinals, and I'm thinking Cliff Kingsbury. He's Gabe Kapler.
That is a pretty good call.
With a better backyard. Did you guys ever see the draft coverage?
Oh, yeah.
To Cliff Kingsbury. Danny, well, you're in the desert. Is that what your backyard looks like?
Not this one.
What do you think? What do you think Kingsbury pays for his pad?
Oh,
That
was sweet. You had to see it, but it was
probably
like
2 million
it was like
or so.
stones. It was like stones and grass in between, and then a killer pool.
Yeah,
and
it was beautiful.
That marked a new day for NFL coaches. I feel like that whole thing. That was the first time where an NFL coach like posted a thirst trap, essentially being like, "Hey, ladies, check this out. Come, slide into my DMs." That was essentially what he was doing there. Hey, check this out.
Kyle McKiernan, Larry and Willard, battle and fun. Both two smart guys laying it on the line. Well, I don't know if you'd call Willard smart. No, I'm just joking.
He did call you. I like your tweet the other night. Say, or did you say, "Don't call me dude. Don't dude me."
Yeah, he's like, dude. I'm like, Austin Wins is the Giants DH. Don't dude me. Stop duding me. Yeah, we had some fun today. All right, fellas. Final thought on our way out. Giants lose. I did bet them tonight, or bet against them tonight, so I did cover.
You got yours in. I didn't get mine in. I missed it by 30 seconds. God done it. I'll bet against them tomorrow too.
Danny, I'm loving you're going into the stands, meeting people. I mean, seriously, that might be the future of the channel. Is Dan like man on the street, starting chants? Like,
I think I'm going to do that tomorrow night. My wife was dying. She goes, "What are you
You're
doing?"
like the Huell Hauser of the Krug show.
I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to get the Krug chant going tomorrow. Should I do a Larry chant or a Krug? Krug,
yeah.
Krug.
Nick Martinez says, "My wife called me bro once. Was not funny." LOL. That is great. All right. Final thought from either of you guys, or is it time for the Monster Slam?
Well, I got one quick final thought.
Final thought. It was just a really fun day. It was awesome meeting Danny in person. We had a great time.
Yeah, it was wonderful. We had a great time. And
I'm glad because I wanted to be there for the golf tournament, and I couldn't be there because of the last second I had to do the fill in, and I'm happy to be doing the fill in. But I was bummed that I missed the golf tournament, but I was glad that you guys were out there, and it looked cool. And I'm glad that Ricky was honored because Ricky's the man, and just a lot of fun stuff. And we will hopefully all be at the New York State.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Golf tournament.
Yeah.
That is going to be
awesome.
epic.
My final
invitational.
Yeah. My final shout out goes to Mike from Burlingame, who caught a fastball tonight, foul ball off the bat of, was it, who was it, Wade?
It was Wade.
Wade. Lamont Wade, 3 rows in front of me in my section. He stuck his bare hand out, and the ball just stuck. I mean, it was like you could hear it hit his bare hand. It was like, and man,
his hand was so red.
Oh man, I said, "How's it feel down there?" And he says, "I said, you need some ice, I'm yelling at him, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm good." So I said, "You know what? I'm going to go down and talk to this guy," and then. He's a fan of yours. He goes, I watched Krug did it this morning, or listened to him on 95.7 The Game with Willard. So there it was. So, and I think those guys were shouting Larry in the 9th inning. I really do.
Come on.
Play that one more time, right? That was hilarious.
One more time.
Advantage and you just leave it right away. She pointed out Melance's pitching for the ground ball. Now he can get ground balls with both his pitches, his primaries. The cutter, which you just saw, is down around the knees, and the curveball.
Larry.
Right down the middle of the plate.
Was that at the same time that you were leading the chant?
No, I had left. I actually left.
It was that was the bottom of the 9th. I thought that it was Dan trying to like capture on video like the potential like walk-off home run while they're chanting Larry, and it was going to be the greatest moment in the history of YouTube.
I'm gonna get my battery fully charged tomorrow. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do some interviews. We're gonna have some fun.
You should. Your man on the street stuff is incredible. Ryan, you got a final thought on this one? It was a loss for the Giants, but what can you say?
You know what? At this point, it's sort of a little like I'm treating them a little bit like I'm treating this team a little bit like I'm treating Joey Bart, a little bit like I'm treating James Wiseman. Just be out there, be active, look like your head's in the game, and just give me a good effort. Don't roll over.
Yeah.
All right.
And my bet against the Giants is not to bet against hoping they lose. I bet on them because when I bet against them, they win, and when I bet for them to win, they lose. So it's kind of a reverse psychology. I don't mind losing a few bucks for a Giants win. So don't. I'm not down on them like I said. I want them to lose. I'm just having a little fun. And if they do
when I bet against them, I want them to lose, and I am down on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys. Monster Slam time.
Hey, before you hit the Monster Slam, hey Graves, Dubon, Trout, Dubon. Dubon.
Offensive foul, no way.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you asked for. Handful, whatever you bring me, get it handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to have.